Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm 38 years old. I'm from the UK.
Right. And you have some issues you used to have that you have healed today. Can you tell me something about what you used to deal with?
Yeah, I had predominantly fatigue was my main symptom, and I eventually found out that was chronic fatigue. I had a diagnosis for that. I suffered with depression through various times, various bouts of depression. I also had polycystic ovaries, or the syndrome of polycystic ovaries. I had a lot of acne on my face as well.
Mm-hmm. And how did these things affect your life?
I was really I wasn't ill, like in bed ill, but I was very I was just always tired. Everything I did was tinged by a level of tiredness and exhaustion. Like I could do something, but then I'd have to rest the next day. So yeah, it was very difficult.
Did you do any exercise?
Very little then. If I did exercise, I'd be really tired the next day. So I tended to just do really light exercise, if anything.
Right. and the ovaries thing, how did you feel that?
Let me see. How did I know that I had that? I had a diagnosis for it. I can't remember how I came to have the tests for it, but I'd been having painful periods. That's one of the things I forgot to mention. So I think I'd had a general checkup, like an ultrasound, where they looked at my ovaries, and I had some cysts on there, and I was often missing periods, so I think I wasn't ovulating properly, which is one of the symptoms of that.
So you couldn't have kids at the time?
I would imagine I had infertility at the time. Yeah, I wasn't trying for a baby then, so I don't know for sure.
Right. And what did you try in order to heal yourself?
Gosh, I tried so many things. I went up a lot of wrong roads, I suppose.
Yeah.
I remember at one point I was doing homeopathy and herbalism and kinesiology all at the same time.
Oh wow.
I'm not getting any results from it. But that was a long time ago, and I did experiment with a lot of dietary changes, initially removing wheat and removing refined sugars and removing dairy for a while, and then I was vegetarian probably, but not very committed to that, and then I came across material around the candida diet, or the anti-candida diet. A friend of mine was doing that, and I read a lot of the symptoms in the book that my friend lent me, and I thought, okay, that's it, that's what I have. So I undertook maybe 3 years of eating the
low sugar
diet. No yeast, no mushrooms. I chose to do no fruit. I think some people have some fruit, but I decided to commit to no fruit at all. And yeah, predominantly cooked, quite heavy foods. And I did that pretty consistently for about 3 years, but not really getting the results that I wanted. My energy didn't come back.
And how did you come across the 80-10-10 diet?
I mean, a little after that candida diet phase, I came across raw foods.
Right.
I think just online. That was when I was just beginning to use the internet, and I did 5 years of eating what I now call high-fat raw, following like Gabriel Cousins and just the general raw food movement with gourmet raw.
Right.
So no fruit at all. I continued with the no fruit.
And how did that make you feel?
Pretty tired.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was very tired still. I wasn't really understanding why I wasn't getting the results, because the things I was reading about in the raw foods diet, I just wasn't achieving those things. And I just didn't really understand what was wrong. And I was working on other things as well. I was working on emotional stuff and working on other kinds of healing. So I was thinking, well, maybe it's all about that, and eventually my energy will come back.
But it didn't.
No, it didn't. And I knew about the 8-10-10 diet because I heard people talk about it in raw food circles. However, with my fear of fruit, because every time I tried to eat fruit at that time in my life when I was eating a lot of fat, I had a really strong reaction. So my blood sugar would shoot up high, I'd get really red cheeks, I'd feel really kind of woo. And then half an hour later I'd have a crash and I'd feel exhausted and fatigued again.
Okay.
So my understanding was that this crazy 80-10-10 diet with lots of fruit would just not work for me. I could never do it. However, the way I came across it, I knew a friend who was talking about how much energy she had on it, and I thought, well, there must be something in it. There must be. And I had a nagging doubt as well about not eating fruit because it just seemed so natural.
Right.
And I couldn't square that up in my understanding. Anyway, I fasted just for 24 hours because I went to an ayahuasca an ayahuasca ceremony. And my friend said, well, why don't we fast before the ceremony? So I did that with him. And the following morning after the ceremony, I didn't have any food with me. I hadn't really prepared for this overnight ceremony. But they prepared a big bowl of fruit salad to give out communally. And I looked at it and I thought, I'm going to have problems if I eat that. But eventually I just got so hungry and I thought, well, I'll eat it and I'll just deal with the reaction, whatever it is. And I had a bowl of it, and it tasted really, really good. Yeah. And I felt okay. And I kept waiting for this reaction to come, and it never did. And then I had another bowl, and then I had another bowl. And I thought, what's going on? I'm not feeling this usual crazy reaction from fruit. And that was then the driving force for me to get more into eating fruit, because
And so how long have you been doing it now?
6 years I've been doing 80-10-10 style eating, high fruit.
And some cooked in the evenings?
Yeah, we've gone, in the last couple of year and a half, we've gone back to eating a little bit of cooked in the evenings, always vegan, always low fat, mostly organic.
And how do you feel today? What do you have of symptoms left?
I have none of the symptoms left that I came to heal, basically nothing. I don't consider myself to have chronic fatigue. I forgot to say about this. I had a test. I had a blood test and an ultrasound scan on my ovaries. Was it 2.5 years ago? And they were reluctant to retest me because they said to me, look, it's PCOS. You're going to have it for life. You just have to manage it. And I said, but please, could you give me the test? And long story short, they said, well, actually, you have a really normal ovary and a really normal uterus and womb. You just have a normal cycle. Wow.
And now you have a kid as well.
I have a child, he's nearly 2.
Congratulations. That's so awesome. So how long did it take for you to heal these things?
Well, if I looked at my first point of awareness that I really wasn't very well, because it took me a while to realise. I look back now and I know even in high school I didn't have as much energy as other people seem to have. So let's say if I was 20 when I really realised.
But I mean,
mid-20s was when I got a diagnosis for chronic fatigue, and I'm 38 now. Right. So it's been a long journey.
Yeah. And you also did a long fast. How long did you fast with?
I fasted for 23 days, and I went to a retreat centre with Doug Graham, and it was a really amazing experience. I had a lot of fears about doing it, about taking time out from my life and going there alone without my partner, and the money that I needed to spend on it, but it was exactly the right thing to do.
And what results did you get from it?
Well, I'd already come a long way, I believe, just by eating 80-10-10. I'd come a long way, and I still had a little residue of chronic fatigue. I wasn't as fully energetic as I am now. So I think it really cleared the cobwebs away. It just really cleared the end of that for me.
Do you have a final good advice for somebody who wants to try this?
I would say stay curious, keep researching, keep discovering, and eat a lot of fruit and keep the fat really low.
Thank you so much for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
Thank you.